Alrighty. We're going to get started today by taking a look at the color wheel in a different way. So when we painted our color wheel, we looked at primary and secondary colors. So we can go ahead and mark those: primary for red, blue, red, and yellow, and secondary for purple, green, and orange. But there are other ways that artists use the color wheel as well. They sort the color wheel in different ways. So today we're going to do just that. We're going to sort the color wheel by warm and cool color. So I'm going to draw a line that puts green and purple and blue on one side of the color wheel and red and orange and yellow on the other side of the color wheel. So these are our warm colors, and these are our cool colors. And color temperature has a lot to do with how we use the colors. So cool colors tend to fall back or recede, and warm colors tend to pop forward and come at you. They're more excited. They give more of an emotion of joy or excitement, while these are more calm colors and they offer more emotions that are more subdued, something like maybe sleepiness or sadness or relaxation. So these colors can say a lot in your artwork. So what we're going to do is a little challenge today. We're going to take what we learned about the color wheel and we're going to put it into a landscape painting. So I'm going to turn the page here. Here's a finished example. This is a warm and cool color landscape. So you can see I drew a real simple landscape, and then I used the color schemes either above the horizon line or below the horizon line. So in this case, I used my warm colors in the ground, and I used my cool colors in the sky. And I didn't use green at all. I couldn't make a yellow moon in my sky because yellow is not a cool color. So I left the moon white because neutral colors can be in either place. So let's see how that would work if I did it a different way. Turn the page. I like to put a little piece of scrap paper underneath my sketchbook page, just so if the water bleeds through, it doesn't leak onto another page behind there. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna go ahead and take my water and I'm gonna put a couple of drops of water in my watercolors just to let those wake up while I'm drawing. And I'm gonna go ahead and sketch. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a horizon line. And I'm thinking about what kind of landscape I want to do. I did a desert landscape before. I could do a winter landscape. I could do a beach landscape. I can do all kinds of things. But I think I just want to do, I think I'm going to make, so I just moved my horizon line up, if you notice. Now the tops of these mountains are where the sky and the ground touch. And I think I'm going to put a little river in here. Now, if I want a blue river, I'm going to have to use those cool colors on the ground. So that is my plan. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make some evergreen trees. This is going to be a little winter landscape. Let's make my tree a little bit better like that. So there's a large one. There's a small one. Let's make a medium one here. Just a little bigger. Okay. And that's it. Simple. I could make a night sky. I can make a daytime sky. I think I'm going to use a sunset sky. So I don't really have to draw anything in the sky. I'm going to go ahead and start painting. I like to start at the top of my paper. And the challenge is that we're using either warm or cool colors above the horizon line. So I'm choosing to use my warm colors above the horizon line. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to have my little yellow sun kind of setting there right between my mountains. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just expand that yellow just a little bit so that I can turn that into a bit of orange here in a few minutes. So I'm going to just spread that all the way across my sky and get a little bit of red so that I can make that a little bit orange. going to keep going and blending this in my sky until I have not very much yellow there, until I have a nice transition to sunset from yellow to orange to red. All right, so I've got my warm colors up here. If I want to have a little bit more orange in here, I can just wake up a little bit more of that yellow, and I can blend it in with that red, and I'm going to get more of an orange. If I want a darker red, I'm going to use more red paint and less water. So that's what's going to increase that value there. Let's give me some pinks and other shades and tones in there. All right, so I'm going to rinse my brush out, and I'm going to go ahead and start on the cool colors of my ground. So I know that I want my trees are definitely going to be green. So I'm going to go ahead and put some yellow in here. And get a little bit of blue, a little bit more blue. And I'm going to go ahead and mix up my green color here. That's a very yellow green, so I'm going to go ahead, add a little bit more blue to it. And when you're mixing your colors, you just need to be kind of patient with it, adding a little bit of this and a little bit of that, kind of like a good cook in the kitchen. It's to put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it turns out delicious. And you say, how did you do that? Well, patience is how you do that. And I'm just going to take this green that's already on my brush, and I'm going to go ahead and add it in to my smaller trees because they're just such small spaces. By adding a little bit more blue, I get more of a blue-green and less of a yellow-green. This is very yellow-green here. Okay, and I'm going to keep going mixing those colors like this. So I'm going to go ahead and make my mountains. I'm going to make them purple. So I'm going to make some purple mountains. So I'm using red, which is a warm color, but I'm using it to make a cool color, which is purple. So I've got this purple mountain back here. It's making a very cold and snowy feeling with my hillside. And I think I want to make this sort of a winter sunset. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse this out. I'm going to go ahead and put my blue river in here. It's going to be really a cold blue river. So I'm going to really wake it up and make it really bright, bright blue. You can see that the more water I have, the lighter the blue is going to be. So I want it to be darker down here at the bottom of my paper and a little bit lighter at the top. And then finally, I want to make my ground kind of snowy. And white is a neutral color that can make it feel snowy. But right now, it kind of just looks like I forgot to paint the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some water on my brush. Remember, I already have blue in my brush. So I didn't rinse, I didn't clean my brush. I just got a little bit of water. And now I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that blue that is on the edge of my color. Right along the edge. So I'm just getting a tiny bit, and I can make a little shadow for my tree. And I'm just making it so that the white paper has just a little bit of blue on it, just a little bit, so that it kind of makes it feel like a cold blue, cold white, I should say. And your landscape does not have to look like this. I do not want you to create a landscape that looks exactly like mine. I want you to use, whoops, I got a little too much blue there. So let's just spread it around a little bit. Maybe, that's really kind of dark. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn it into a little icy pond. I wonder if I can make it into like a little icy pond here that kind of goes along the river. Well, that kind of looks like an icy pond. And I'm just going to leave it like that, kind of like it, just like that. The last thing I want to do is sign my work. I'm going to use a pencil. And I'm just gonna write my name down here, Dr. A, and it's 2021. So there we go.